Just a friendly reminder that we are currently all watching two of the busiest people on the planet making time for each other.
Taylor Swift has to be one of the busiest people in the entire world right now. She's constantly recording new albums. She's re-recording old albums. She put out 2 of them this year alone, which had like 20-something odd tracks on each one. On top of the fact that she had a tour this year, the Eras Tour, where she was traveling not only in this country, but now she's also traveling globally, right? In the midst of all that happening, this guy, Travis Kelce, who plays for the Kansas City Chiefs, I can't believe I know that now, God. He's been training for a football season. He's been also having to play games every week on top of working out every week for these games. He also has his own busy schedule. At some point, he said out there, hey, Taylor Swift, we should go out sometime, blah, blah, blah. And then they've been slowly getting to know each other, right? She is a hell of a busy woman, right? And yet, in spite of her busy schedule, somehow she still manages to find time to meet up with Travis, either when there's a break in his schedule or when there's a break in her schedule. And I mean frequently, at least 2 or 3 times a month for days on end, which for people that are really, really busy is quite amazing. But this goes to the point that I've said on this show before, which is this, that when women have a high interest in you, it cuts everything, and they're gonna do everything they can in their power to make time to see you. Why? Because at the point that they have high interest, you become important enough in their lives for them to wanna make time to, regardless of what they have going on. Now, I stress this because some of you guys don't get it. You're buying the excuses that women are giving you when they say, oh, I wanna see you, but suddenly I'm just too busy. And so I'm gonna show examples of this, right? So I found these 3 Reddit posts. I'm gonna read through them really quick. But the first one's from a guy that's in 11th grade. The second one's from a guy that's in his 20s. And then the third one's from a guy that's in his 30s. And across the board, they're questioning about whether or not the women that they're currently liking are actually too busy or not. So this first guy says, we're both in high school. We go to the same school. We're 11th grade. Been talking to each other for a few months, and it's great. We text almost constantly. Mistake. Have long 3+ hour late night calls. Mistake. And we Snapchat each other many times over. Mistake, which I'll get into in the Snapchat section of this show. How we started talking was that she was going through some personal things, blah, 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 blah. I've talked to her 2 times about me going for her and our feelings. Ugh, don't talk about your feelings. Both times she sent a long paragraph about how I had the characteristics of what girls wanted or what she needed, and how I gave her this fuzzy feeling every time I talked to her. But that she couldn't be in a relationship right now because she was busy with sports and academics, and because of past people that effed up the way she viewed dating. So in that last part though, she gives herself away, because what did she say? She said in the past, she was able to make time for dating, but other people messed it up. And so now that's one of the reasons that she can't date you. Oh, aside from also, sports and academics, even though with those last situations, I was also doing sports and academics, but I made time for them. But now I just can't do it. I just can't do it. And as a guy, you're gonna fall for it because it sounds logical. Women know how to get to men's logical brains and come up with situations that they know men are gonna find logical and plausible enough to believe when she's giving these bogus excuses. She said she doesn't see herself dating for quite a while. And he says, I've read the threads that are like this, are typically using the guy and taking advantage, but I want to reaffirm if this is true in this specific case. I really like her, and I've already begun to accept the fact that if she doesn't see herself dating for a while, so when women say that, I can't see myself dating for a long time, what that translates to is she can't see herself dating you, but trust, if the right guy comes along that she has the hots for and thinks is a 10 out of 10 guy and makes her feel all the things, then she's gonna manage to find that time. Like that soccer schedule / mathlete schedule, she's gonna suddenly be able to squeeze in time. Or, because guys won't even question this, right? I'd be questioning, but wait, we don't have school on the weekends. You might have a sports thing, say, in the afternoon, because most schools aren't really doing night things like that. But you don't have an hour out of a weekend to meet up for a meal, come by my house and say what's up, go to the arcade or something like that. Just no time. Your entire time is bought up by schooling and by academics and by extracurriculars, and you have no time. You have no time at all whatsoever. You don't ever go home. You just get home and you fall asleep right on your bed. That's what's happening. But this is what I'm saying is that she's making the excuse now because she doesn't actually want to date him. Like, yeah, she's having a good time talking to him on the phone, texting and Snapchatting him, but none of those things are actually spending one-on-one time with him. And that's how you really judge if a woman likes you. If she's willing to set aside time to spend one-on-one time with you, like Taylor is with Kelce, then that lets you know that she has an interest. Because again, what I want you to do is this, right? For right now in this span of time that we're in, anytime a girl gives you the excuse that she is hella busy, you need to ask yourself the question, is she busier than Taylor Swift? Because if she's not busier than Taylor Swift, she can find time. Why? Because Taylor Swift, with as busy as she is, also can manage to find time for a guy she likes. So that's high school stuff, though. Let's get on to the 20s. So guy says, girl says she was too busy to hang out. I assume she was not interested, but now she is confusing me. So he goes, I, 26 male, I've only gone on 3 dates with this girl, 24 female. We've had fun, great physical chemistry, most beautiful woman I met in my life, blah, blah, blah. She just got back from vacation this week and said, quote, we need to hang out soon. So I was like, okay, cool. Are you free this weekend? And she was like, I'm super busy and my weekends are full this month and next. So I said, no worries. Let me know if things change and you want to hang out. I wouldn't have personally said that. I would have just waited a weekend and said, hey, I know you said you're busy this weekend. There's this thing that's coming up. Just wanted to make sure. Or she said she's busy on weekends. She said nothing about weekdays. So he's already going to get a false read because, and to the point, most women, when you first start dating them, they're not going to give up their weekends. They're already planning their lives with those Fridays and Saturdays. But saying during the weekday, hey, 7 o'clock, Tuesday or Thursday, let's meet up for a quick dinner, a quick bite to eat. Let's go do it for a quick walk in the park. It can all be little quick dates, but women that have high interest will say, well, I can't do weekends, but wait, he said weeknight? There's some time between Sunday and Thursday that I can put together an hour or two to see this guy. So anyway, he says, then I deleted her number and moved on because I've been on both ends of the too busy excuse. And I realized that if you really want to see someone, you will make time. Exactly. Now, the whole thing is this, is that in this moment, I wouldn't have just outright deleted her information because here's the thing, guy, like let's assume she's legitimately busy, right? At any time, she could hit you up and be like, hey, plans changed. So what this guy actually did was get butthurt by the idea that she said she's busy, but there's no future context where she's gonna actually be busy or to see what happens if he doesn't like hound her about how busy she is. She could very well be like, oh, you know what? He's not hounding me about being busy, but I kind of miss him and want to see him. You know what? I'm gonna figure out a time in my schedule. So this is one of those where I would have said, great, I wouldn't have said let me know when you're busy, because that you don't want to ever give control over to women about when they can see you or not. Like you want to ideally keep it open where you're going to be the one that's able to contact them to ask for another date. All right. But anyway, so he did that. Then he said, then yesterday she texts me that she misses me and hopes I'm not mad about her busy schedule and rattles off what each of her weekends look like. Friend birthdays, bachelorette parties out of town, visiting family, yada, yada, yada. She says she wants to maybe get lunch next week. So now to me, this is where it starts to be where she's throwing out positive signs because as I've stressed before, women that like you help you. And so that means that if a woman is really busy, if she can find any time in her schedule to suggest doing a potential date, that's a positive thing. We call that, what's the word I'm looking for? We call that counter offer. If you try to suggest a date and she says, I can't do this date, but what about this? Or, hey, I have free time on this day, let's try that. That is a counter offer. Now, hers is a weak counter offer because she says maybe. And as I said before, you don't want to do maybe dates. So if she'd have said, maybe we can get together next week, I would have said, you know what? That would actually be great, but I want to make sure that I'm able to solidify my schedule too. So let's not do maybes. Let me know a definitive day where you know for sure that you will have time at a specific time to meet up for a lunch or a dinner even, and we can make that happen. But so even with this, you as the guy can't let her get you into the land of maybe. Like don't ever let a woman put a maybe date on you because I'm promising you, more often than not, maybe dates are gonna be no's or they're gonna get canceled and you're gonna be frustrated. So to preemptively unfrustrate yourself, try to lock down if and when she actually has that free time if she brings it up. So then he says, I think, okay, maybe she is actually busy and wants to see me, but I'm skeptical. She was like, I might be able to get free Sunday. And I said, yeah, I could do that probably. Then later in the day, she says she has to visit her grandma and can't hang. At this point, I'm just confused. Last night, she didn't want to hang because she had a kickball game, but sent me a "you up" text at midnight. She also texts me a lot, though she takes ages to respond. So what's the deal? Is she actually busy? Not interested, but a sociopath? I'm always fun. Every time women do things that men don't understand, men come back with, they must be a sociopath, and they must be bipolar. And I'm like, dude, just because you don't get the behavior doesn't mean that that's happening. She is socializing in the way that most women normally socialize. They speak in passive language, and they kind of say maybe things sometimes in hoping that you're going to lock it down to a more specific time. Like, these are things that women just do, you know? He says, I'm a little too old for exhausting games like this. Again, guys always think women are playing games when they do this. She's not playing games, dude. But here's the thing, right? So let's say she's legitimately busy. I'm not in the habit of dating women that are so busy that they can never get a chance, a way to see me. Like, if that's a woman, if she's legitimately saying she's always busy all the time, then that's going to frustrate you. And I would say, don't do it. This could also be a woman that either has low interest or has other offers of guys that are trying to take her out. Maybe she has an ex in the picture. Maybe she met another guy on a dating app that she's trying to also see, and she just doesn't know how to tell you, hey, I'm actually seeing other guys. So like, you know, I'm trying to spread it out or whatever. But the point is that, again, if she's saying that she's always busy all the time, then this is a no-go. If she's attempting to try to make time to see you, then that's good. But if she's also then pulling away that time, that puts you in maybe land. And we know how I feel about maybe land. We don't want to live there, right? So in terms of her being like, oh, I want to see you Sunday, then it's like, oh, I want to see my grandma, I can't hang. You got to look at what are the excuses that she's giving, and are they plausible and worth not seeing you for? So going to see her grandma, it's plausible, but how often does she get a chance to see her grandma? I'm guessing probably a lot. So that could be one of those there. She's using it as an excuse to not see him. Or she's saying, oh, I have a kickball game. So you got to ask, is a kickball game worth not seeing you? I mean, she could just be really enthused about kickball, but that's still an activity she's taking on that's now taking her away from you. Here's the thing too, is sometimes women in their single seasons, they're not aware they're going to actually ever get a guy. So they'll put their schedule and just pack it full of stuff. And then they meet a guy, and now they have all these obligations. So another real question would be, okay, so let's say the kickball season runs out at some point, and her family goes home, and you know the birthdays are over for her friends, and the bachelorette parties, her friends are now married, it's all done, right? Once all that stuff goes away, will she now be free? And in the moment, you don't know that. But this is also why, after only 3 dates, you're not trying to lock her down. After 3 dates, you should still be taking on other offers to see other women, because on the off chance that this woman is just hella busy, and like legitimately busy, not like seeing other people busy, but like actually busy, well, you might meet a woman that has the same kind of stuff going on, but is either A, more willing to give you time of day to see her, or also isn't nearly as busy as the girl that you're talking to now, all right? You don't have to settle for a woman that is consistently busy, because if you're trying to get to actually know her and be in a relationship, then this is going to turn into a major freaking problem, okay? So all this to say, in terms of like, guys want to know, like, he wants to know, like, what's the deal? Is she actually busy? I run my life like this. All I can go on is the results that I'm getting from the woman I'm dating and how I feel about it. So I could try to be in my head all day about what's the deal? Is she really busy? Is she not? Is she seeing other guys? Does she not like me? Is she actually busy? I just look at, what's the end result? The end result is, am I able to see her as much as I want to? And if not, what do I do about it? And I'm not even a guy that's like, I got to see him every minute of the day. I tell you guys, when you first start dating a woman, once a week tops, right? So she can't carve out one time a week to see this guy. She can't carve out once every other week to see this guy. That to me, it either reeks of a woman that has low interest or has filled up her calendar to be so busy that she's now not making me a priority or getting to know me a priority. And it's not that early on she has to make me a full-on priority, but if she's looking for love, she needs to have some level of priority about getting to know another person. If she's not putting that in, that's bad. Now, also in here though, you know, he says that she's texting a whole lot. So she's still wanting that attention, in which case, if that's going to be going on, you got to figure out, okay, at what point is it going to go from us texting all the time to us actually being able to spend more time together in person? And right now, she's not giving him a time frame for that. Like she said, oh, friend's busy, bachelorette party, blah, blah, blah. So I'd ask, okay, wait, so like, when is your friend's wedding? Or like, when is the bachelorette party? When are your friends' birthdays? And, you know, if they're happening weekend to weekend to weekend, when's the next weekend that we'll be available? Because you could say, hey, you know what? You got a lot of stuff going on. Let's look into the future. So like a month and a half from now, there's something happening on like December 10th. Are you free that day to do something? And you could ask those questions. If she starts saying, well, I'm not sure, I don't know, then you got somebody that is not really wanting to see you, but just likes the attention. And you also have a right to not stay in that situation, all right? But the point is this, again, ask yourself the question, is this woman busier than Taylor Swift? Taylor Swift, who's recording albums and touring around the world and doing press releases and doing videos, is this woman busier than Taylor Swift? Because if she's not, Taylor's seeing her guy right now 2 to 3 times a month, and she's touring the world. She's in the same city and can't see him. I have issues with that. So then we go into the third example. These people are in their 30s, and the post is, she's too busy to date. He says, so I've been seeing a woman on and off again since September, a total of 5 times in 5 months. That seems like a poor rate. And she always seems like she has to cancel or reschedule or check her schedule or what have you. And of the 5 times I've seen her, 1 hasn't been on a work night. When we do meet up, we get along well and have a lot to talk about, but she's an ambitious, busy, high-powered executive professional who travels a lot. I do okay for myself job-wise, but I enjoy having a stable and easier profession that comes with more me time. And the more I think about it, the more I think that we don't have much in common besides financial and emotional stability. You very well may not, both of which are important to me, but it kind of feels like it's not enough. Well, because you want to spend time with her, you want to get to know her, you want to hook up with her, you want to get to, go on actual dates with her. And these things are important when you're trying to build a relationship with somebody and when you're trying to get to know somebody. When you don't get to spend consistently good time with somebody on a more consistent basis, then yeah, it starts to feel like, what's this for? Because I'm not getting to see them and know them as much as I'd like to. He says, and the fact that she seems so busy doesn't bode well for any kind of meaningful relationship, or at least not one with me. I'm going to see her tonight, but this is, I guess it's a Monday night date, but I'm probably going to lay this all out. I don't feel we're going anywhere, but I feel like it's a discussion to have in person. I suppose it's also worth noting that dating has been like a living nightmare for me and that I've never had any kind of relationship in my life. And part of me wonders if I'm self-sabotaging a potential relationship for fear of something actually working out somehow. That maybe I'm being a choosy beggar. Well, that could be happening. Our subconscious is designed to keep us comfortable with what we are used to. And so you can get to an age where if you've gone a good portion of your life without having anybody, then you're going to start to pick partners that either A, are toxic, B, don't actually like you, so they're going to push themselves away, or C, are so busy that they never get to spend time with you, and it's going to make you have to dump them in the long run. So yes, your subconscious very well could be sabotaging your ability to actually find partners and seek out people that are more readily available, because that gives you more time to be in front of them, which subconsciously gives you more time to show any kind of mistake that would cause a woman to dump you, if that makes sense. He says, but most of the time, most of me realizes there's probably not much potential here. She's not a bad person and a great catch for someone, but I just don't think that's me. Does that seem rational? Am I overlooking something? I'll say this, 5 times in 5 months, that is a very poor rate. And again, I get it. You're saying, hey, she's a busy professional. I have dated busy professional women who have to travel for their job and have long hours and are oftentimes tired at the end of the day. And those women, when they saw me, they were still happy to see me, and they would still make time for me. I remember there was girls I dated where I'd be like, hey, I know you got a lot going on. So, I was dating this girl one time where she was literally flying all over the place to try to recruit people for the school that she worked at, right? And so she literally had to come into LA for all of 6 hours and then fly right back out to someplace else. And I was just like, hey, if I get a chance to see you, great. But if not, I totally understand. This chick got in LA, got off the plane, got into her car, drove to my apartment. I got in her car. We drove around for all of 20, 25 minutes just to talk and say hi, what's up to each other. She dropped me back off my apartment, went immediately back to the airport, and flew off. So even in the midst of her busy schedule, she was like, if I can give him 20 minutes, 25 minutes, that's what I'm gonna do. I had another girl that she was coming back from Australia from a wedding, and she had a layover in LA. She had to get over back to the East Coast. And she, again, I'm like, hey, if you can't see me, because it was like a 9-hour layover. I'm like, if you can't see me, if you don't want to leave the airport, I totally get it. This chick got off the airport, came back to my place. We hung out for a little bit. I managed to get her back just in time. She didn't have to do that, but even amidst her busy schedule, she was like, I still want to see you. So this begs the question, if you are dating somebody who is only seeing you 5 times in 5 months, is that a higher or lower number than the amount of times that Taylor Swift has met up with Travis Kelce in the times they've been dating? She's come to his games in the midst of her concert. She's flown him out, or he's flown out to see her in the midst of her tour. Like, these people actually have empires, have millions, if not billions of dollars in the bank, are still running around making deals all the time, and yet somehow, because they like each other, they're able to make time. Is the girl that you're trying to chase making time for you, or is she giving the excuse that she's hella busy? I can assure you guys, women that like you, even if they're busy, are gonna find time to see you. If they're not doing that, they either have low interest or they've made their job life or the busy life their priority, in which case you don't want to date them anyway, because them not putting dating and getting into a relationship on their priority schedule does not bode well for the future of what you're trying to build with the person. It's just the way it is, guys. So that's all I can say on that particular subject, is that look into the fact that women are going to say they're busy, but they manage to find time to see the guys that they really, really like. If you don't believe me, look at Taylor Swift, and that's all you need to know.
You's a bad boy, but you can't stop, won't stop. You a high-earning, high-value, high-class man. You a high-earning, high-value, high-class man. You a high-earning, high-value, high-class man. You a high-class man. You a high-class man. You a high-earning, high-value, high-class man.